Good morning, good evening. This is a source site. HARARE City Council last week went through a phase of destroying a number of houses in Belvedere, one of the suburbs in the city. This is unbelievable. Harare, just like many other cities in Zimbabwe, millions of residents live in structures that are not fit for human habitation. So why would you be destroying a decent structure? And yet that is exactly what they did. Unbelievable. I think there are a number of questions here that must be asked. To start with, this suburb in Belvedere, this section of Belvedere, there are a number of houses that were destroyed that day. These structures did not appear overnight. They were built over a period of months, if not years. So the first question to be asked is, why did the city fathers and mothers allow the work to go on all these months, only to destroy the structures now? Why? Were they asleep on the job? The argument from the city fathers is that the houses were built on land sold by land barons. In other words, the council did not approve. Well, the question one must also ask then is, by destroying the buildings, is the council punishing the land barons, or are they punishing the victims? Clearly, in all probability, swindled by the land barons. These land barons, when they sell the stands, then they don't come cheap. So these people paid an arm and a leg for the stand, and then spent the rest of their resources building what they thought was a decent home, only now for it to be completely demolished. From the reports, the city fathers did not even have the decency of telling the people to dismantle, because I'm sure most of them would have been able to recover at least some of the building materials. This is just heartless. In a city where thousands are living in structures that are not fit for human habitation, why are you destroying structures that are fit for human habitation? I think this cycle is a common sight in Zimbabwe. In this case here, it is the city council that is doing it, but it is also common for the government to do this. The truth of the matter is, most of these people would have built themselves a decent house in their rural homes if they title deeds. People in the rural areas do not get title deeds. They do not get even title deeds to 1 acre of land. This is a historic fact. The white colonial regime refused to give blacks title deeds in the rural areas. They wanted to keep the blacks subservient, no more than medieval serfs in Europe. This may be the 21st century, we still have serfs in Zimbabwe. Here is Margaret Longo, a Zanu PF steward in her own right, speaking to the very issue of why Zanu PF is keeping the poor poor.
They have wrong priorities, especially the current government. How can you go and build an airport which services a few people, and the majority are the elite and the so-called investors? Look at the rural. I made you come to interview me because I wanted you to have the experience of the roads that we are using. If we go today to our hospital there, you feel pity with that's a hospital in a rural area. If we go to our clinic, you feel pity. We have no piped water here. Do you know the reason why the rural people vote for Zanu PF? One, they're intimidated. Two, the policy is that the rural people should remain poor and subservient to the government. They should remain poor, because if they remain poor, they continue singing the song for their master. This is why these people have been impoverished. It's for a reason. But at the moment, if you economically empower these people, they'll go out of hand. Zanu PF will never have control over them.
That we cannot deny. This is the kind of mud brick hovel that many of our people in the rural areas live in. They live in abject poverty. They do not have, they're denied title deeds to even 1 acre of land. If they were given title deeds, they will have the confidence to build a decent structure, decent house, plant fruit trees, dig a well to make sure there's clean water, and make significant improvements, knowing fully well that if they should want to leave the house, they can sell it as an ongoing thing. But when you don't have title deeds, you can't afford that kind of investment, because you could be told you build it on the wrong place and will be demolished without even notice, as we have seen only too often. Ironically, the ruling elite have no qualms in getting title deeds. The Zanu PF ruling elite are the ones who frog marched the whites of the farms, in some of the cases using violence. And the farm owners were forced to leave the farm with nothing else other than the clothes they were wearing and a few things that they could throw on the car. Everything else, the crops, the animals, everything, the development they had made, they were forced to leave it. And the ruling elite took over it. They have title deeds to those farms. And yet the same individuals are denying title deeds to even 1 acre of land. And they keep harassing the ordinary people, never given peace of mind. They're forever being asked to move from pillar to post. Even when they get the land, it's quite often they're told, no, the person who sold you didn't have the right to sell it. And that's it. The house will be demolished. I think this madness has got to stop. We can't keep on treating our own people as if they are no more than medieval serfs for purely political reasons. We have to deal with this problem. I think it is intolerable that we have allowed it to go on for all these years. 44 years after independence, and nothing really has changed. We have got those in power who love to wield their power not for the good of the country, but to keep the raw poor and everybody else subservient. This is what is destroying Zimbabwe. I believe the city council had no excuse for demolishing buildings when they had allowed them to go up over these months. Why didn't they act? And if they were in the wrong place, they should at least have compensated all these people and allocated them a piece of land, compensated them so that they could build a new structure. Give them the opportunity to recover some of the building materials that they'd used without having to go in and destroy everything. This is totally unacceptable. The problem in Zimbabwe is we have got the ruling elite who have become so powerful. They do as they please. They are not accountable to anyone. Our political system is rotten to the core. We really need to change it. This cannot carry on. To those people whose homes were destroyed, one can only feel sorry for them. Because without doubt, most of them could have poured in all they have in building those houses. And now they have nothing. They've got to start from scratch. No one should be treated like that. Especially when it's clearly not their fault. Thank you very much for those of you who were able to join, and have a good day.